Welcome back, everybody. And this next session, which is a little a much more compressed session because we have 4 panelists. And our 4 panelists, we are going to start introducing from Dr. Nafissatou Leye. And she is a PhD in molecular biologist at IRSF. That is one of our leading institutions in lab system strengthening in West Africa, in Senegal to be precise. And her career spanned through 10 years of experience in the field of infectious diseases. And she's currently leading COVID diagnosis at IRSF in Senegal. And she has significantly contributed to the implementation of various collaborative projects within that institution. She is a certified international business leader. That's a very good one. I didn't know that there's another one like that. I'm going to pursue that too, so that I can become like Nafissatou. And this, of course, is a nice certification for people who want. That is issued by the International Institute for Executive Training. Our next speaker is Amel Bashi, and Amel combines patient care and research. He's a frontline health career worker for HIV, for COVID-19 in Congo. And he's also conducting his PhD in immunology at the Fondation Congolaise pour la Recherche Médicale. That's in the Brazzaville, Congo. And Amel is actually having a lot of interest in SARS-CoV research in neglected tropical disease and in emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases, which is what our scope is here within ALERRT. Our next panelist is Junior Mutsvangwa. Is Junior there? And Junior, I'm sorry,
No.
I'm still learning. Okay, so Junior is not
Junior
there.
is not here yet. So
right. So Dr. Felix Kukwikila. Felix, I tried this time so hard. I've been practicing for the past 2 weeks. And Felix is actually a PhD, and he is the main guy who runs the show in many institutions, one of them being in Africa at the Fondation Congolaise, but he has a good affiliation also with the Institute of Tropical Medicine in Tübingen and in Germany. And he is a lecturer, and he's now a maître assistant, as his title goes, in immunology and molecular biology at the Faculty of Science and Technique, Faculté de Sciences, Faculty of Science and Technique at the University Marengwambi, that's in Congo, Brazzaville, or in the Republic of Congo, to be more precise. And so, rich panel, short time, unfortunately. We got 1 hour to squeeze all of this in. And I am going to leave you all to, I know you have beautiful slides, to go and hit the ball rolling with your introductory remarks. I call them introductory remarks so that it's just trying to tell these people, hey, we have the baggage here to be able to discuss this. And so that we can have at least 30 minutes of real discussion, and then looking through and filtering through all these questions if we can. So if any of you can do your remarks as quickly as like maybe 10 to 15 maximum, that would be really helpful for this session. Nafissatou Leye, you have the floor.
We can see your screen, Nafissatou.
On my mic. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to share my experience in this webinar on leadership. And what I'm going to talk about is there is a leader in all of us. And I'm going to quickly share my experience on this. But before I share this experience, let me just show you where I work at IRSF. IRSF is a research institute at West Africa based in Senegal. And it was a vision from a leader called Professor Souleymane Bou. And this vision was also supported by the Senegalese government and also the Gilead Foundation. And IRSF is a non-profit organization with public utility, which was launched at June 2017. And our area of intervention is mainly research, and we are also doing diagnostic, epidemiologic surveillance training, and we provide also technical assistance, as Dr. Palmer said. Let me talk about my own department. Our department is a molecular biology platform, and as I mentioned, we contribute to the mission of RSF, and on this mission, we have public health activity. And through this public health activity, what we are doing is to support the Ministry of Health and other programs against HIV, against infectious disease like HIV, hepatitis, COVID-19. By doing what? By doing molecular diagnostic, viral load quantification, antiretroviral drug resistance testing, and we are also producing proficiency testing panel to help the sub-region to do external quality control. Other activity we are doing is molecular epidemiologic surveillance by molecular typing or genetic diversity surveillance. And we are also doing research because research is our main activity. And most of our resources come from this research project. And this project, as you know, on molecular biology, targeting RT-PCR from sequencing or sometimes next generation sequencing. And we provide capacity building, knowledge transfer, maybe fostering interdisciplinary locally or internationally. And we are also helping the sub-region in their improvement of lab system. And let me show you our team. The woman you are seeing here is Professor Kumbature Khan, who really inspired me. And she is since 2007, appointed as the technical advisor of the Minister of Higher Education, and since 2019, VC of the Youth and University, which is at Kaolack. And since there, she put the load on my shoulder, and I'm the daily manager of the molecular biology platform. And this is our team, and I'm gonna show you a big picture of this team. And the woman you see here is the women we have in our team. We have a team of 24 persons with 18 women inside, meaning that we have to deal with very women. And this the picture you are seeing here was taken during the International Women's Day, showing that we can do things after work also, as we are a team. Let me show you just my little career. And during my little career, I did my Master 2 degree, like there in 2018. And I worked on HIV drug resistance, and this study was published on AIDS Research. And also I come with my PhD on HIV drug resistance in men having sex with men and general population in Senegal. And these are was also published on Journal of Impact Factor like +1 or MEGID. And during this PhD, I get 2 prizes. The one was for the International ICASA conference at Ethiopia, and the other one is the interest workshop organized by the virological education at Dakar. And from 2014 to 2015, I did my postdoc part at the Laboratory of Bacteriovirology, and I get the chance to get an HIV Trust Fellowship to visit the Johns Hopkins University to be trained on next generation sequencing. And during this postdoc also, I win another prize, a second prize of Best Research Program by the Trick African Network, organized at the MRC Gambia, which is very encouraging for a postdoc position. And since 2017, as I explained, I'm the deputy manager of the molecular biology platform, and I was certified international business leader at 2021. But how we deal with the daily task and how we face the key challenge. We did a lot of things, but I can summarize just in 5 important actions we have done. And the most one is the communication. We try to develop people, we mentor people, we motivate people, and we also have to solve the problem we face during our leadership part. And for communication, what we did is to implement a regular team meeting, because we needed to communicate well inside our group. And we needed to use this regular staff meeting to have action plan, to set up action plan, and also to monitor activity. And WhatsApp group also were implemented because it is tools of communication everybody are using now. We do in our WhatsApp group a real-time monitoring. A problem. I also identify our problem during our WhatsApp report also, and we use molecular biology mailing list to share information in real time with our team member. Other things we did is technical training, task delivery, and supervision. As we are a team, we needed to be sure that every member of the team has the skill needed to attain our objective. And the first thing we did is the technical training. Once people arrive at the lab, we do technical training to be sure that they have enough skills they needed. If someone have a long absence, we also train it again once he arrive again. We are also doing annual evaluation, and once we show that some performance are decreasing during this annual performance evaluation, we also did again a technical training. We provide them habilitation certificate to be sure that they can work and meet our objective. And these training are not only on the task they had on their recruitment, but we also train them on other aspects we can do in the laboratory. And how we deliver these tasks and supervise these tasks, we do daily report in our WhatsApp group. We do monthly action plan evaluation. We define our quality indicator and evaluate this quality indicator every 3 months. And every year we do an annual performance to evaluate the performance of each of our team members. And the most important thing we are doing is the mentoring part, the motivation, how we motivate our personnel. The first thing we are doing is to build a strong relationship between our team to ensure that the people feel like it, carried, included, valued, and trusted. And once we get this, we also add some team building like coffee break, like birthday celebration. And every time when someone do a good job, we celebrate this success to promote excellency inside our group. And also we are sharing the opportunity we get from our partner to help people to develop their own career. And we also serve as a link between the team and the top manager. Sometimes we can fight with the top manager to be able to serve our team. And by doing this, we create a favorable environment to help everyone and contribute to their success. And we allow people to make independent decisions whenever it's possible. And as we are a team means that we have human being, and human being means that we have different culture, and different culture means that we have different behavior. The other thing we are dealing to manage is the conflict. Sometimes we try to work before the conflict appear by promoting open mind inside our group, communication inside our group. And sometimes when the conflict arrives, what the first thing we have to do is to take enough time to step back and assess the situation, to promote a transparent communication with all stakeholders, seeing and clarifying the problem and asking stakeholders to propose their own solution. And if needed, we add some idea if needed. And if I try to summarize the way of leadership we are using inside our team, is that at first we define a clear goal to be sure that every team member know our goal. After, we create a suitable environment using our team building extra to be sure that our environment of working is favorable to all development, to meet our objective. We implement a clear communication. We also support, encourage, and motivate our people. And after this, allow us to develop these people. And at the end, we manage our conflict to be sure that we can meet our goal inside and go forward this conflict. And I'm gonna finish by sharing with you this from John Maxwell, who said that success is when you add value to, when I add value to myself, but significance is when I add value to others. And a leader is someone who knows the way, goes away, and shows the way to others. And I'm gonna finish by thanking my own institution, IRSF, who allowed me to be a leader today and to show my experience. I also thank the One Etam Network, who allow us to be certified as an international business leader. And I'm also thanking the Global Health Network to give us today the opportunity to share our experience. Thank you so much for your attention. Over to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nafissatou Leye. You're not going away. You're staying with us for the panel discussion because you've just been able to really knock it within that 10-minute space. So we will go quickly to Amel Bashi. Amel, et si tu veux parler en français, tu es la bienvenue. Hein? There is a leader in everyone. What is your take on this question? And if you need slides to come on, I know you have slides. Those can come on. And while they are coming on, you can already start, sharing that. And so Amel Bashi is our, I think, youngest on the panel, if I'm not mistaken. And so, Amel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Palmer, for having me. It's a great honor and privilege. I'm Amel, and I'm a research assistant at Fondation Congolaise pour la Recherche Médicale, and where I conduct my research in SARS-CoV-2 as introduced. And the title of this presentation is in line with what has been taught in a former presentation, which is there is a leader in all of us. And I think this title is really suits what I am and what many young people face as they, they go through their pathway to become a leader one day. And it can be done regardless of the domain of the specialization that anyone is taking. I say this because I wasn't born with, I didn't start off with the thoughts that I would end up being a doctor, a physician, or conduct research to track disease transmission or distribution. But as I was getting out of adolescence and becoming a young man, it was becoming more and more clear to me that there were some forces around me, whether it's undernutrition, health inequity, that at the end of the day started having a profound impact on my way of seeing life. So I decided that whatever I would do, this has to have an impact on my community and society. And this is why I think that anyone can be a leader, regardless of what you do. I'm going to go through two different points. The first is the foundation for effective leadership. And the second, I'm going to talk about some current issues and direction in research leadership. What I found during my preparation of this presentation is that leadership revolves around 4 different components. This is management, and it goes from planning, organizing, controlling, and leading. And as you see, leading requires communication, enthusiasm, motivation, commitment, as described earlier. And it's always is around the usage of power to influence people. And power is defined as the ability to get others to do what you want them to do. And concerning this word, I think there's a lot of subsets of definition of power, as I just took some of them. One is reward power, which is the capacity to offer something of value as means of influencing other people. There's also coercive power, which is the capacity to punish or without positive outcomes as means of influencing other people. There is also legitimate power, which is the capacity to influence others by virtue of formal authorities or the rights of others. And there is expert power. This is what we commonly see on our research institution, which is a capacity to influence other people by virtue of specialized knowledge. And there's at last reference power, referent power, which is the capacity to influence other people because of their desire to identify personally with them. And in order to conduct effective research, we're going to use this power by taking into consideration two things. The first is interactive leadership, which is strong on motivating somebody who uses interactive leadership, or communicating, listening, and relating positively to others. The second thing is emotional intelligence leadership, which is the ability to manage our emotions in social relationships. And it is surrounded by 4 different concepts, as you can see in this slide, which is self-awareness, which is self-management, relationship management, and social awareness. Those are the things that, believe it or not, comes at play as you play your role as a leader, either in your research institution, at wet lab, or dry lab. And there's there's a popular a manager who is called Peter Drucker. He's one of the most influential management consultants of the 20th century. And in this book entitled Good Old-Fashioned Leadership, he highlighted some points that really give good results if someone really applies what is written in this book. And one is that good leaders have integrity, really important. They mean what they say, earning and keeping the trust of followers. We often hear of restriction of publications in the scientific domain. This is because somewhere in the writing or in the research track, there was some mistake that have been seen or that went unseen, and then reviewers came to discover that the results are false. And the leader is then pivotal in this domain because he shows his students that they have to be really faithful to what they discover. When we do research, we're looking for the truth, either in clinical trials or in patient care. We are looking for the truth to see the effectiveness of each medication or each vaccination. So we don't have to falsify results because we want some good impact factors or good publications in order to go up in popularity. Because research has to be reproductive. So integrity is something that, as a research leader, we have to inspire the young generation or the young generation of research to take into consideration as something very, very important. And by doing so, even if your students has a state of mind of somebody who's always cheating or looking for short ways to have good results, he will see in you someone who can inspire him some good habits in doing research. And I think this is very important for a leader. Good leaders define and establish a sense of mission. They set goals, priorities, and standards. Good leaders accept leadership as responsibilities and not a rank. They surround themselves with talented people. Because it is a natural tendency when we feel superior to people. You can be a mentor or lecturer or postdoc position. We have this natural tendency of undermining people, undermining our students, or giving them a whole job and then waiting for results with your names on as last order or first orders. This bad habit can have a negative impact on our students who are postdoc researchers to come and copy these bad habits. So it's really important to see that as they are leaders, they are also taking part of the research, either by controlling the pipetting or controlling the writing. Anyway, we have really to take part in the research we do with our students. This is a good way to show them that we are a good leader. And we also have to remember that management and research is about human beings. So never say hi, say we, because it's a team. Generally, government and politicians respond to the claims made by the population in one way or another. And if you want to have influence, you have to do it with a team, just like in a basketball team. And we create this team by building trust with others, finding out how their interests fit with yours. And by this way, I think they will see you as a good leader who has good proximity with his students. And by this way, we can attract good researchers, talented researchers. We also will be facing decisions that are risky, but we can show our students that we have to seize opportunities, never quit regardless of the challenge that we face, and show that effective research is aimed at tackling public issues, not always to satisfy our curiosity. The final point is to be patient, because research takes time. It takes time to demonstrate things, tackle issues. And those are the things that we can show our students and hopefully be a good leader to imitate. Thank you for your attention.
Excellent, excellent, Amel, excellent. Honestly, I'm happy and impressed the way, all of our presenters are keeping to time. And so that tells me that the discussion phase of this is going to be really great. Felix, while you are setting up, I also know you have a presentation. There is a leader in everyone, right? So we would try to also tap from your experience, what it's been walking through that chain. And I don't want to know if you have grabbed the baton or you are still waiting to grab it, but that's on you to tell us right now, Felix. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Palmas, for the speech given, and thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate it. And I would also like to thank the organizers to giving me the opportunity of participating to this wonderful workshop. So please, Mercedes, I don't know if you can now start sharing the slides, please.
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah, so while sharing the slide, then I will continue. So I'm really, really, really happy to have this opportunity of saying some few words about this important topic, which is there is a leader in all of us. That means like we often have millions of questions saying like, who is a real leader? Can I be a leader? And how to be a leader. I think sometimes we have to have, let's say, a kind of simple observation and be optimistic to say, yes, I can be a leader. Yes, or I'm already a leader, okay? But by doing what, you can say, yes, I'm a leader, or yes, we are working in a good leadership leadership frame. So I will be going through the slides, firstly by trying to sharing with you some definition which are quite easy to understand to simplify this concept of leadership. The first one is like leadership really, how can we simplify this definition? Okay, leadership is just the capacity of translating the vision into reality. So meaning we have ideas, then how can we translate these ideas to reality? And we need to take some actions. We need to have specific way of taking actions. From this, when you have successful way of taking actions and having good results, at this time you'll be considered as a leader. But you may also already be considered as a leader even when you are still a student, like master students or PhD students. Mercedes, please, this slide.
Slides, please.
Yeah, we're having some issues, but we'll share shortly.
Okay. Yeah, Felix, go ahead with your. You have like a backup on you?
Okay,
Yeah, I
will
have a
share.
backup. Yeah. Do you have it now?
Yes. 1 second.
Otherwise, you could start answering the many questions that are already waiting for you, Felix.
There we are.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, good. Yeah. So we are in the second slide, so you can jump to the second one. Yeah. This was like my plan. As I said, I will share some simple definitions to clearly understand what we understand by leadership or who is a leader. And then I will also try to talk about some important core values that a real leadership has to have in the context of science. And I will share some of my experience that, yeah. Slides, please. Yeah, this is what just this definition of leadership, as I was saying, the capacity of translating the vision into reality. And this quote was from Warren Bennis. And once you have this in mind, you know, it's quite easy for you to try to achieve this goal of being a good leader. You first need to be educated, and as you know, you go to school, you go to university, and you need maybe to complete your master and your PhD, and you have the opportunity of leading teams or being principal investigators in some specific research project. At that time, you will have around you some people that you need to help to accomplish some specific tasks during the study in order to achieve the goals that you have set or the goals that you have set together with the funders of the research studies. So saying that a leader is just someone who can positively guide, influence, and inspire others while also being inspired by them. Dr. Sylvia has talked about the Ubuntu system. Is just you have the team, you are a leader, and people are expecting you to show the way, to show how to do things. But then you are also at the same time to give them this possibility, this ability of also being progressively independent, so that you will really just be leading instead of managing. Because the difference between like leader and manager is the leader will be just trying to give the orders without showing how to accomplish the tasks, different tasks. But the leader, who is someone who will have the team to have success, to do things together. Okay, slide, please. Yeah, saying that, you need to have some core values. As I said, we are not born directly as leaders, no. You need to be educated. You need to learn. You need to observe people. You need to observe leaders. And you need to have what they said, mentors. But when having mentors, you need to be able to capture how these mentors want you to behave in the way that you will be a good leader. Because if you don't capture, it will be very difficult. You may have a very, very good mentors, but will not be able to be a good leader. So you need to have this ability, this capability of capturing what your mentor wants you to do. So saying that the core values that are really, I will suggest, or I often suggest, is first curiosity and the will of learning more. People may be telling you, you are a good leader, but you don't need to stop. Just say to yourself that I still need to learn. So in the way, in saying that, you will continue growing. So you will show to people the passion of doing right by being the first person who will start doing the right things. You know, as I said, during the PhD, for instance, you will be the one pipetting, the one going to the field, collecting samples. But then when you finish, during your postdoc, you will be like having the two sides. Sometimes you are in the lab, but the remaining time you will be coaching the team. So if you are not good at pipetting yourself, then it will be very difficult for your team member to really know the standard of pipetting. And you need to know the documentations, the standards, so that you can transmit, you can clearly explain to your team members, and such a way you have together, you will grow and be a good team. So in that, after that, you'll be considered as a good leader. So you have to have the capacity or the capability of influencing, inspiring your team by doing right things. Okay, and please, you may come back. Back, please. Oh, yes, doing right things. And another point is like, you have to be honest. You have to have the fairness and respect to your team members. You have to show them that you really consider them and you want them to grow, so that together you will achieve the goals. Even though sometimes you may be a little bit autocratic, but still you need to have some kind of diplomacy and showing to your team that without them, you cannot do anything. Okay. And as I said, what you have learned during studies, you have to share it with your team members. Okay, when you are having students, you need to really share all your knowledge to them, so that they will be able to help you when you have to pass in your reality, like dealing with a research study. Start, please. Slide, please. Yeah. Then this last point, please. No, before that. Yes. This is for me like one of the most important points to consider. Taking good actions at the right time. Everybody knows these words or this expression, deadline. You know, you may be a very good leader, but if you are doing things not taking into account the aspects of time, then you will not be successful. So you really need doing things at the right time, taking action at the right time. Okay, so when you are preparing a study, you need to have a team, but you will need to have the team before starting your study, instead of first receiving, for instance, the money from the funder, saying that, yes, we have started, but, and at that time you will be like recruiting people who will be the team members. No, you need to do that before and train them, explain them the protocol, so that when the time will come to really start the study, you will see that you will be really successful. You will not going beyond the deadlines. The next slide, please. So during my careers, so it's very difficult to know the type of leadership that we often use, but during my career, I often use these 3 different types of leadership styles, like transformational leadership style. This is the one that I really like. The sometimes, yeah, I was obliged to use these autocratic leadership styles and democratic leader styles. So autocratic leader styles is like someone who just give the orders to the team, just do this, do that, do that. And you need to really see the context. At what time you will try to adopt a specific style of leadership. I often use this style in the beginning of the study. As I say, we know that we have like clear points to achieve, clear objectives to achieve. And you need just to tell your people, please, it's easy to do this. You need to, for instance, prepare the different forms for collecting data, for giving results. And these are quite easy tasks. And you show your team members, and you have to tell them you need to do that, for instance, within 3 or 4 days. This also kind of giving them some motivations. But if you just came, just, oh, if it's up to you, you may do or not, that deadline will come and you will not be successful. And once you may see your team member now is understanding the study, you need to behave like a transformational leader. So you will now be delegating the tasks because you also observe them. You have detects those who are really motivated, who also have some inspiration to quickly understand what to do in order to achieve the goals. So in that time, you will now delegate the task so that you will see, you will quickly go and you will be on time. You will not go beyond the deadline and you will have the good result. So one of the experience that I wanted to share is the phase 3B for clinical studies that we conducted in Brazzaville under Fondation Congolaise pour la Recherche Médicale, which is led by Professor Francine. To me, that I always say thank you because she's the one who really inspired me and who helped me to be a good leader as I say today. So we were the team with the less experience because it was our first time to conduct such clinical trials. We were receiving like plenty of mails from the funders. Are you sure that you can do that? Are you sure that you know how to follow patients? How to say, of course, yes. We know while conducting the study, you'll receive all the necessary documentation before the starting. And our strategy was first just to stick on the documentation, to know exactly how to do and what is the main goal of this study. And then we try to adapt it with some specific content related to our country, like in the Republic of Congo. Sometimes it's difficult to have patients. Then we created some specific documents which at the end of this study helped to have really less patient, like less patient with which were for which we could not really have the last day of the information. Okay, so the missed follow-ups patient. When the monitors came, they saw our way of working, and we are really surprised that they took us at examples and tried to advise the other teams, which already had good experience in conducting clinical trials. They tried to suggest them to do how we were doing things. So it was a great achievement for us. A second one is like, as a leader, you will be confronted in different environments. I'm also a lecturer, and sometimes, you know, it's quite very difficult to inspire students because they are the future researcher. And my way of helping them is just forcing them to understand that you need to do things at the right time. Like you will be giving a lecture and you need to learn before passing an examination. But what they were often do is like, they will pass the examination after that, and they will come with question, no, I don't think that I could have like 4 as a mark because I would think that I did a good job. I say, no, you need really to make sure yourself that you understand everything, you are ready, and once you pass examination, at the end, you will not even need to come behind me trying to understand why you got a bad mark, like we say in French, la mauvaise note. Another one, the last example, this quickly, I'll try to share is like the way that we try to manage the situation of SARS-CoV-2. You know, when this situation happened, our political authorities were so stressed, you know, they wanted people like to analyze thousands of samples within a day, having like a team of 7 members. I say, no, it's not possible. As a leader, what you have to do, you need first to stop this pressure and clearly explain to our political authorities, how can we be able to analyze 1,000 samples? You need to recruit new people, you need to motivate them, and you need to see them like being well-trained, and you need to have equipment and reagents. And then at the end of the day, we will be able to do that. They say, no, 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 you are, sometimes they will try to go direct to influence the team members, but the leader is the one who has to try to stop this pressure and encourage his team to work hard, to learn, and at the end of the day, they accepted our proposition. They put the money to have a big team, they put the money for the machines, and then at the end of the day, we have the capacity of handling 8,000 samples a day in the National Public Health Lab, where I'm also working as a head of molecular biology units. So,
Dr. Felix, 1 minute.
Really, yeah, this is the end of my presentation, and I would like to thank you very much again. I thank all my bosses and the institutions who helped me to be this small leader today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we had a technical difficulty. Felix could not see me or something, but it's good because Junior is not here. So we have at least a few minutes. And at the end, we have to give 5 minutes to Mr. Leonard Numfo, who is the ALERRT manager in the University of Yaoundé 1, to be able to, you know, give a snapshot of what ALERRT is. And so we have kind of like now narrowed down to like 12 minutes for all our panelists. Nafisatu, Dr. Lay, are you there?
Yeah,
yes, we need you on because you have a lot of questions that have been coming. Dr. Sylvie mentioned problems. How have you managed at IRSF to have a whole bandwagon of women?
Yeah, it's a question we have every time coming. You know, I say that it's not only the molecular biology department at IRSF, but I say that is the whole IRSF team. We have more women than men.
Okay.
And yeah, I know that in our department, it's very sometimes challenging to have more women in our department. But for us, it was really very, very easy because the first thing we have to set up was to show to every member of the team that we are a family. And we needed to take care together. And all members of the team, we know together, each one knows the husband, the child, the family of other person. And sometimes we can ask to come and work, as she say, as the working time. And it's sometimes our husband who bring us to come and work at IRSF, meaning that we are a same family. And sometimes when the team try to reach me and they have not able to reach me, they can call directly my husband to say, can we have Nafisa too, or can we have this result?
Okay.
And this was very, very helpful. And this allows us to do our work without any complaint. And each member of the team try to help the other one. If we have some difficulty, we have just to share in our WhatsApp group. Today I have this problem, I cannot be here, and other one can take the lead on your activity. It was very, very easy to handle.
So I don't know the situation in your place. I think both are Fondation Congolaise, but I want you to go to the question that really deals with how do you deal with these members who you call for meetings, they don't come? Felix, in your own examples, how have you managed that? And I'll come to Amel to answer the same question, but angling it the way that Rosanna has put it, which is looking at somebody's work and saying, hey, I don't feel my work is as important as his, How do you deal with that? Felix first.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much again for the speech given. So this is a very complex situation, but personally, I have kind of easy way in try of solving it. Once we have a meeting, and if there is like someone who didn't have the, I will say, the opportunity of coming, I will not be like this autocratic leader saying, why didn't come? And then, no, I will first try like to call the guy. Please, guy, why didn't you come? And then, so I need to listen the reasons, okay? And if, yeah, he may convince me why. And as you were saying, being with this Ubuntu system, you need to consider also the social part. You need to understand why the people didn't come. So based on that, you will know really what to tell him to motivate him to come. And most of the time, the guy will be motivated. The second meeting, he will be there and on time. Then the third, and then so in my experience, I always having a good team, and they love me much, and I love them also. At the end of the day, my team.
Excellent, excellent. Amel?
Yeah, it's a challenging situation. Basically, there was a whole range of diseases to make researchers, and students are balanced and look for ways to satisfy their interests. So when they come to you, sometimes in the same time, they come to other mentors also, and may cause them to miss some meetings or badly address what tasks you have attributed to him. So the best way is generally to communicate with them, communicate and look and ask him what kind of challenges he's facing, or why did he miss one meeting, or why does he neglect a particular task that has been attributed to him. And by discussing, we're going to discover which is the real problem, and it will be much more easier to address this kind of situation.
Thank you so much. Et merci beaucoup. Et ça, c'est une question maintenant qui vient en français, mais c'est vrai. C'est juste parce que Jules Upenji-Woth a mis ça en français et il demande de savoir, dans notre contexte, le financement est limité. Et il y a deux autres questions qui sont en haut. Comment faire pour pouvoir vraiment gérer, être un bon leader dans le contexte où les ressources non seulement sont limitées, hein, ça c'est pour Nafissatou, mais beaucoup de temps, ça vient de l'extérieur. Ça, c'est pour Félix. Comment est-ce que toi, Amel, tu as dans ce contexte-là, ressources limitées, moins de dépendance sur l'extérieur, gérer donc votre aspect en leadership pour pouvoir maintenir cette balance? Nafissatou.
Thank you, Parma. As you are saying the question in French, I'm going to respond in French also.
Okay.
As you know, we know that we are in a resource limiting setting, and in our institution, most of our resources come from international partner. And it means that sometimes, as you explained, we have to face on this situation. We have some project who is ended, and we need to draw another project, and we need to maintain the group. And the first thing we did for this situation is we try to anticipate, to try to draw the project before the end of our ongoing project is the first thing we do. And the other thing is that I'm usually trying every time to show to the team member, even if we have the problem of money, the other things we have to see is the knowledge we are going to gain once we are in an institution. For example, for me, once we have 15 members who was recruited for COVID activities, these guys, when they arrived, I told them that even if you are here for a CDD contract, you have to learn a lot of things while you are here. And for this, we train them, even if on RT-PCR, we train them on sequencing, next-gen sequencing. And at the end, these guys show the knowledge they are going to gain while being in this group before seeing maybe the salary they are going to have in this project. And feel that this allow me to work with a lot of persons, even if their project ends, they still stay with our group. Time to have the other project starting or time to find another things.
Félix?
OK. Bon, je vais changer d'angle, donc je peux parler en français.
Il faut aussi changer l'interprétation en bas en français. Sorry.
OK, donc merci également. Alors, pour être un peu direct, alors tout ce que vous avez dit, c'est vrai, il manque de moyens et autres, mais là où partout je suis passé, donc à la Fondation anglaise pour la recherche médicale et même actuellement au Laboratoire national de santé publique, nous essayons de voir les choses différemment. Utiliser ce défaut comme une motivation, sachant en amont que les fonds sont difficiles à avoir et donc, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait? On se motive à essayer d'écrire des projets, on se motive à essayer de bien gérer les dons que nous recevons pour faire de sorte qu'avec peu, que nous puissions faire à peu près des grandes choses. Et pour nous, leaders, il y a un gros challenge aussi, parce que étant leader, parfois, on se voit avoir beaucoup de moyens comparé aux autres, mais là, c'est un sacrifice qu'il faut faire. Quand il y a peu de moyens, le leader aussi, ben c'est ça, tu es ensemble avec ton équipe, tu es honnête, transparent, en annonçant les choses à l'avance, la durée du projet, pendant combien de temps, quel salaire vous allez avoir, montrer à chacun comment l'argent va être géré. Je sais que c'est un gros challenge et que c'est un gros challenge pour beaucoup de leaders, mais pour moi, en tout cas, ça ne me pose pas de problème d'être clair et voir beaucoup plus devant en se disant, ben, on a un projet qui va prendre une année, mais avant d'attendre la fin du projet, on se met à écrire des proposals, à soumettre ça. Et là, on identifie vraiment des personnes clés qui ont une certaine inspiration et la motivation à écrire des projets. Et donc, on les accompagne aussi de sorte qu'on puisse garantir un peu le fonctionnement des choses.
Okay, thank you so much, Felix. Amel, you have the last just before we go to Leonard. So we will ask to go just about 5 minutes more, if possible. Mercedes, you can tell me no.
Well, one of the things that we experience here in Central Africa and also in whole sub-Saharan Africa is that research is generally underfunded. We face a funding climate that is not favorable to doing good research, mainly on infectious diseases. We know that there is an imbalanced funding between non-communicable diseases like cancer and communicable diseases like infectious diseases. And we have seen it aggravating when SARS-CoV-2 came. We have seen some funding that were traditionally intended to support tuberculosis research being cut and geared towards SARS-CoV-2. And students working in these diseases did have a big shock, because it's not only reduced the funding for reagents, but also reduced the funding to support their wage. And so those two things were difficult to manage. What we did was to centralize the funding first for reagents. Of course, it would not really cover at 100% the needs in reagent for the diseases, but we have shown students that the most important thing in order for them to defend the PhD one day was to have their reagent ordered and stocked. And of course, we then explain them that the current situation is that they have to make big sacrifices with transportation, etc. But of course, it's really not easy to manage.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our panelists. And if we had more time, I'm sure we will be able to answer all of these questions, but we have to leave at least the last 5 minutes, which is actually extra. And we are appreciative to all our attendees and panelists for going the extra mile. We understand time is of essence. So Leonard is going to give us now a background of these networks that you have seen that are being able to bring to you these interesting, as from your comments, interesting presentations and wonderful panelists, to whom I say thank you once more. Leonard, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Palmer. Thank you for everything. I know many participants are always asking the question after such workshops: who are these people? Where are they from? Where are they coming from? How did they get into the network?
Do you want to go to presentation mode, Leonard?
Yeah, presentation mode, please.
Yes, I'm on the presentation mode.
No, click no. The last one. Slideshow. Slideshow, yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah, so the problem is always like, okay, this network of research group is actually the efforts of EDCP. And if you realize, a network of excellence is made up of sub-Saharan Africa. You have the West, Central, South, and East. We have Wanatam from the West. You have Eka from the East. You have Kantam from Central, and you have Tessa from the South. And all the panelists are members coming from these networks. And you have network of excellence made up of Kantam, Wanatam, Tessa, and Wanitam. All are working together as a network to facilitate research collaboration by uniting diverse institutions in the 4 regions of sub-Saharan Africa. So if you want to get more information, you can visit the links of these networks, and you'll be more informed and versed about what we do, where we come from, and how we form the network of excellence. Then looking also at, on top of that, we have EDCP also funded Epidemic Research Preparedness Consortia. The 2 consortia is ALERRT and Pandora, which we all have panelists concerned here. And then for more information, you will also find on the web the links below, ALERRT, the Global, and then Pandora. So you will see everything, all the work we have been doing on preparedness, on outbreak, the research carried out, and the grants we gain, and how we work together as a network. This is just an example to demonstrate that we are all a network, and we collaborate as a network to minimize the risk of outbreaks in sub-Saharan Africa and the world at large. Then the big boss behind all this, the platform, is the Global Health Network, who is always ready to support anyone who wants to carry out a webinar, a workshop. Just need to visit their link and then communicate with them, and then you have a planned action of when and how to go about it. So the Global Health Network, it makes things enable faster, easier, and better research in the world at large. So it's a website where you can visit and also get the knowledge sharing hub, and also training skills, and also to see your gaps in your research activity. So thank you very much for this short presentation.
Thank you so much, Leonard. And yeah, so our panelists are very, very commended for this effort. We are really grateful that you could make time. We are grateful to all our participants. And this is not the end of this workshop series. Tomorrow, same time, we are going to have the second part of this workshop. And that is going to be chaired by my colleague who started introducing me, Dr. Jean-Pierre Ngessa. And so we will hope to welcome you all back tomorrow, same time, for a continuation of this very inspiring workshop. Thank you for your participation, and see you all tomorrow.